Think about the last time you went for a casual stroll, maybe just heading out to check the mail or wandering through the garden. It feels simple, almost effortless. But imagine for a moment that we had a window directly into your chest while you took those steps. What would we actually see happening inside? Is your heart beating with calm efficiency? Or is it silently fighting against a system that has grown stiff and resistant over the years? There is a dangerous misconception that for exercise to count, it has to leave you breathless and exhausted. We often dismiss a gentle walk as nothing more than transportation. But the reality, according to modern cardiac science, is far more fascinating. That simple movement is acting as a biological key, unlocking changes in your blood vessels and blood pressure regulation that pills often struggle to match. It isn't just about movement. It is about giving your heart a momentary, yet powerful, physiological upgrade. You might assume that to truly change the picture inside your chest, you need intense cardio-grueling gym sessions, or strict regimens that feel like punishment. We often think we need to suffer to get better, but the science tells us something completely different. It tells us that your heart and your blood vessels are waiting for a very specific type of signal, a signal that is gentle, consistent, and scientifically precise. We are about to walk through 5 vital health insights that explain exactly how to trigger this change in your body. These aren't generic wellness tips. These are the specific, research-backed keys to unlocking a heart that works for you, not against you. From a common myth about how much you really need to do, to a specific timing trick that acts like medicine for your arteries, we are going to cover it all. And I urge you to stay with me until the very end, because our game-changing revelation, number A, is something most people overlook entirely. Yet it might be the single most powerful tool for protecting your heart in your later years. If you want to be part of a community that values vitality over age, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Let's learn how to thrive together. And just a quick, important reminder. All the information shared today is for educational purposes. Everyone's health situation is unique, so please consult your doctor or healthcare provider before making any significant changes to your diet, exercise, or health regimen, especially if you have pre-existing conditions or are on medication. Let's use this knowledge to have informed discussions with them. Insight number 5. The myth-busting volume principle. Let us start with a number that haunts many of us. 10,000. You've heard it. I've heard it. It's the golden standard, right? You look at your pedometer, see 3,000 steps, and feel a wave of guilt. You think, I missed the mark today, so you stop trying. For many seniors, hitting 10,000 steps can feel like climbing Everest. When the bar is set that high, it's easy to get discouraged. You might think that if you can't hit that magic number, there's no point in moving at all. This all or nothing mindset is actually one of the biggest barriers to heart health because it keeps us seated when we should be moving just a little. But here is the liberating truth. Your body doesn't care about marketing, and 10,000 steps was largely a number invented to sell pedometers decades ago. The reality of your biology is far more forgiving. Recent massive studies, including data from over 111,000 people, have shown that the benefits for your heart start surprisingly low. We are talking about measurable cardiovascular protection kicking in at around 2,700 steps. To truly grasp this, let's use an analogy. Think of your cardiovascular system like the plumbing in a vacation home. If you leave the water sitting stagnant in the pipes for months, sediment settles and things corrode. You don't need to run a fire hose through the house to keep the pipes clean. You just need to run the taps gently every day to keep things flowing. Walking is that gentle flow. It's a maintenance cycle. Therefore, you can let go of the guilt. The research indicates a sweet spot for heart benefits is actually closer to 7,000 or 8,000 steps, with diminishing returns after that. But even if you are doing a few thousand, you are effectively running the water through your pipes, preventing the stagnation that leads to stiffness. You don't have to go from the couch to a marathon. You just have to go from sitting to moving. That is enough to spark the change. Strategy number 4. The flexible weekend frequency. Now that we know we don't need 10,000 steps a day, let's talk about your schedule. Life gets in the way. Maybe you're caring for a spouse, or you have part-time work, or simply days where your energy is low. We often convince ourselves that consistency is king, that if you miss a day or two, you've broken the chain and lost the benefit. This creates anxiety. You tell yourself, I missed my walk on Tuesday and Wednesday, so I've ruined my week. This fear of inconsistency often leads people to quit entirely because the routine feels too fragile to maintain. But science has delivered a wonderful surprise for the weekend warriors among us. A pivotal 2023 study looked at people who only hit their stride 1 to 2 days a week, maybe a nice long walk on Saturday and Sunday, but lighter activity during the week. The result, they still saw substantially lower risks of cardiovascular issues compared to people who did nothing. Imagine your heart health is like a bank account. In an ideal world, you'd make a small deposit every single day. That's great for compound interest. However, if you can't do that, making 1 or 2 large deposits on the weekend still keeps the account growing. The bank doesn't close your account just because you didn't visit the teller on Tuesday. Therefore, this strategy is about grace. If you have a bad week or life gets chaotic, you haven't failed. If you can only get out for a good, solid walk on the weekends, take the win. Your body is incredibly adaptive and holds on to the benefits of movement longer than you think. It protects you even when your schedule isn't perfect. This removes the stress of perfectionism, allowing you to integrate movement into your life in a way that is sustainable for the long haul. Secret number 3. The internal mechanic mechanism. We've talked about steps and schedules, but what is actually happening inside? Why does walking lower blood pressure? Most people think it's just about making the heart stronger, like doing bicep curls for your chest. While strengthening the heart muscle is real, focusing only on the pump misses the bigger picture. You can have a strong pump, but if the pipes it pushes into are stiff, narrow, and clamped down, that pump is going to wear out. This is the silent struggle of aging, the stiffening of the arteries. But walking triggers a hidden chemical process that acts like natural medicine. It involves the endothelium, the smart inner lining of your blood vessels. When you walk, the blood flows over this lining, creating a gentle friction called shear stress. Think of your arteries like a garden hose. An old, dried-out garden hose is stiff. If you turn the water on high, the pressure skyrockets, and it might burst. However, a high-quality modern hose is elastic. It expands when the water rushes through. Walking is the conditioner for that hose. When your blood flows faster, the endothelium releases a molecule called nitric oxide. This is basically a relax signal. It tells the vessel walls to open up, widen, and soften. Therefore, every time you go for a walk, you are flooding your system with this natural relax. You aren't just burning calories. You are physically changing the architecture of your blood vessels, turning them from stiff pipes back into flexible highways. This is why walking is so effective for blood pressure management. It reduces the resistance your heart has to push against. You are making the job easier for your heart, beat by beat. Key number 2, the power grid upgrade. Moving deeper, let's talk about how you walk. We often see walking as a passive, leisurely stroll, and while any movement is good, there is a specific tweak to your style that can amplify the benefits significantly. It is natural to worry about intensity, especially as we age. We often associate speed with danger, breathlessness, or risk of falling. So, we tend to walk very cautiously, almost shuffling. While safe, this doesn't challenge the system enough to provoke an upgrade. But researchers have found that cadence, or the briskness of your steps, is an independent predictor of longevity. This doesn't mean speed walking like an Olympian. It just means walking with purpose, as if you are slightly late for an appointment. Here is the analogy to help you visualize this. Think of your body's cardiovascular system like a city's electrical power grid. If the grid is only ever tested with low usage, it becomes fragile. If a sudden heat wave hits stress, the grid fails. However, if you regularly test the grid with moderate surges, brisk walking, the engineers upgrade the transformers and the wires to handle the load. Therefore, by walking briskly for even small portions of your walk, you are upgrading your power grid. You are training your heart to recover faster and pump more efficiently. This power grid upgrade means that when you are resting, your heart doesn't have to beat as often. You literally save heartbeats over the course of your life. It's a training effect that builds a safety buffer for your body, so when real stress comes, you're ready. Now, when it comes to picking up the pace, it's especially important for us to approach it with awareness. If this involves a new level of exertion, please remember to start gently and listen to your body. You don't need to be out of breath. Just a little warmer than usual is perfect. And, as always, it's wise to discuss any significant changes with your doctor, especially if you have heart concerns. Revelation number 1. The vital timing secret. And now, we arrive at the most surprising and impactful insight, our game-changing revelation. This isn't about how far you walk or how fast. It is about when you walk. The challenge we face as we get older is that our bodies become less efficient at processing food, specifically carbohydrates and sugar. After a meal, glucose spikes in our blood. For seniors, these spikes can linger, causing inflammation and slowly damaging the lining of those blood vessels we just talked about. It's a silent assault that happens 3 times a day. But there is a magic window of opportunity. Walking immediately after a meal, even for just 10 minutes, changes the entire metabolic equation. To understand this, imagine your bloodstream as a warehouse loading dock, and the meal you just ate is a massive delivery truck, dropping off hundreds of boxers, sugar. If the warehouse staff is on a break, you are sitting on the couch, those boxers pile up, blocking the doors and causing chaos. However, if you go for a walk, it's like blowing a whistle and calling the staff to work. Your muscles are the staff. When they move, they actively pull those glucose boxers out of the blood to use for fuel. Therefore, the boxers never pile up. The spike is flattened by simply timing your walk to happen right after breakfast, lunch, or dinner. You are protecting your blood vessels from the sugar damage that leads to stiffness and heart disease. It acts as a natural insulin sensitizer. You don't need a long trek. A quick digestive stroll clears the loading dock, keeps the system running smoothly, and protects your heart in a way that walking on an empty stomach simply cannot match. It is the ultimate leverage point for your health. And there you have it, our game-changing revelation number 1. It might seem deceptively simple, just moving after a meal, but as we've explored, the impact it can have on your metabolic health and arterial flexibility is truly remarkable. It turns a simple walk into potent medicine. We've covered a lot of ground today. We started with the relieving insight number 5, busting the myth that you need 10,000 steps to matter. We looked at the flexible strategy number 4, proving that even weekend warriors get heart protection. We dove into the internal mechanic secret number 3, visualizing how blood flow heals your inner vessel lining. We discussed the power grid key number 2, upgrading your system with just a bit of pep in your step. And finally, we unlocked the power of timing with our post-meal revelation. Each one of these is a stepping stone to a more vibrant, healthier you. Which of these insights? Perhaps it was our forgiving insight number 5 about step counts, or maybe the game-changing revelation number 1 about timing resonated with you the most? Which one are you thinking of trying first? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please share them in the comments below. If you found this journey through these health discoveries valuable, please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps others find our community. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more powerful strategies tailored for our fantastic group of healthy seniors. Until next time, stay healthy, stay curious, and keep thriving.